Alright, so I'll be doing another talking video, and this one will actually not have anything to do with disc golf, really. So this is the one that I'll be doing about TV shows and movies. See how it turns out. Yeah, I'm just going to post it as a video. I'm not live streaming this because it's just going to be easier, and then I don't have to wait for it to download it and then put it in videos after. I feel like videos just kind of get pushed out better. And maybe we'll stream later if these end up getting popular or whatever. But we're just going to be recording this one for now. So, first, let's go, I guess, into movies, because I really only have one movie thing to talk about. I've kind of really been on TV shows lately. So, horror movies are one of my favorite type of movies. Just, it's fun to get your adrenaline up and get scared. Now that I've watched a crap ton of them, it doesn't happen nearly as easily for me. But I do still appreciate the different plots and ways they are trying to scare you, and I just like when a horror movie's done really well, it's just like, man, that was good. And they tend to have some of the best soundtracks as well, which I really enjoy. So the most recent one I have watched, it was called Don't Worry, Darling. The one with Chris Pine, Harry Styles, and Florence Pugh, but it's spelled like Pugh. So the movie it had a good concept, is what I would say. Which, I mean, you kind of slowly build to it. You knew something was off. You didn't know what it was. I wish it would have kind of been automatically something's not off. Or maybe not shown as obvious that there was something weird about the world. But it kind of felt pretty quickly like something was off. But which is still fine. But you slowly figure it out. Kind of have the perfect little world for Harry Styles and Florence, and then Chris Pine's being all creepy about it. So I don't. But towards the end, it finally gets revealed. But it's only revealed basically what happens. Where I guess I'll basically summarize it. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it, don't listen to this because it's definitely spoilers. But if you don't want to see it and you just want to hear this, or you have already seen it, then okay. So basically, they're in an old-timey place where Harry Styles goes off to work every day. All the husbands do in unison, perfect together, and come back, hang out with their wives, do random stuff around their pools, and live in this little community that they're not allowed to leave. Kind of like a cultish thing. Everybody just lives there. Random people move in sometimes, but nobody's ever allowed to leave. This one lady tries to leave. She gets all creepy, and everybody ignores her. But then finally, the Florence Pugh girl tries to leave. So then she starts seeing weird things and thinks maybe she's in things are not, or things are weird too, and so she starts going crazy and tries to tell people and doesn't know what's happening in this community, trying to figure out what was weird, what's happening, and then she thinks it's the leader guy, who's Chris Pine, who's doing everything, but which I guess he is in charge of it. But eventually, she finally figures out that she's inside of basically a virtual world, to where the Harry Styles character had created this he got the instructions and he built it, basically this very lifelike VR thing where you lay down and basically you knock them out and they sit there, and it gets into their brain basically and makes them think that they're actually there, and that they are that they're in the actual world when it's really just a simulation or whatever. And so basically all the husbands in the place were just smart computer nerds or whatever, who didn't like their lives and wanted to hang out with their wives or girlfriends more. And so they all built these VR things and ended up putting their wives in it without them knowing. So they thought they were really in this world. They never woke up or anything, but the guys they could wake up when they wanted, and they would like take care of the people in real life and make sure they're fed and all that weird stuff, and then come back into the world, and then go hang out with their wives. So basically, that you like just figure that out, and then apparently the husbands, when they get killed in the virtual world, actually die, whereas if the women do, they don't actually die. I don't fully understand that, but she ends up freaking out, and her husband, and Harry Styles dude, tries to calm her down and ends up coming at her, kind of going crazy. She ends up stabbing him. He ends up dying. Then one of the other girls helps tell her that the other girl knew that she was in the virtual world and wanted to be there. So she told her that it was just a virtual world, and she should and she should get out of there. She has to go touch this thing. Boom, she gets out, and then it stops there. Whereas like Chris Pine and all the leader people have figured out that she knows, and then they're trying to chase her down. She barely gets out, and then it stops, which seems like a good ending, but it's not, because there's so many unresolved things that they're trying to set up for like a sequel, that why would you already set your movie up for a sequel? Like, I guess it can stand alone as a movie, but it would be much more satisfying if they would have come to a better conclusion and really flushed out the idea more, not like just got you, like you just figure it out and then it ends. Like, I feel like that's not very flushed out of an idea, and there's so much more that could have easily been shown just in this movie that they wouldn't need a sequel, but then they could still make it and have like a new set of people if they wanted. Like they definitely should have had her. She's gonna go try to wake up the other people that didn't know they're stuck in a virtual life, and go make sure that all the other women are fine and start trying to find them. And then the Chris Pine guy and all the other people that know are gonna be trying to find her to take her out before she can tell all the other people. And I feel like if they'd added that in to the end, it would have been a much more satisfying ending and would have really like brought it full circle. And then I would have really liked the idea. And then you could have seen more like what other people's houses looked like and how the guys were taking care of the women and keeping them alive and themselves and not letting other people know. I feel like that would have been much more interesting than just figuring out what was happening and then boom, she gets out and it's over. But yeah, it was an interesting idea. I like that part. It wasn't scary. I guess it was only supposed to be like a thriller, but there wasn't really anything thriller about it. So, but yeah, that was pretty good. Most recent horror movie I've watched. Probably will be watching more and then be talking about those because I really enjoy those and would love to talk about those more. So the TV shows I'll start going on with Wednesday. This first one, everybody has been talking about that, and I mean, a lot of people liked it. A lot of people, I mean, it was obviously the most popular for a while. It might even still be up the most popular stuff, but I watched most of it. I don't think I watched like the first episode, but other than that, I pretty much watched all of it. And I mean, it's a good show. I mean, they kind of use the same formula that a lot of the high school shows use with teen drama and all that, and characters that are definitely not in high school. Some of them looked better like they should be in high school than others, but some of them definitely not in high school. But overall, it was kind of interesting and cool. good bit of people died, so that was kind of cool, to where it wasn't just like everybody lives automatically, and um, it has happy ending no matter what. I feel like they're definitely, leaving room for more seasons, which is good, and it came to a satisfying conclusion. Still, it was kind of like a mystery part too, which I like that part more. Just in general, they're trying to solve something, but so I thought it was entertaining. The actress that plays her is really good, and most of the other ones were good as well at their roles. The monster was kind of creepy at the beginning. I guess they could have done a little bit better keeping him creepy for longer. Well, I guess they kind of did in the house, in like the abandoned building part. But I felt like you kind of saw all of the monster too quickly. I feel like they should have kept showing parts of him, and like him just kill people in the darkness more, and show parts of him like running away or whatever, to kind of make it more of a big reveal right before they figure out what it is, what he looks like. But overall, I would say it was good. Obviously, they mainly just showed Wednesday, not the other characters. The characters they chose to play the family, like the little boy, he didn't do much, so it was just like, whatever, But the dad, I don't know about that choice to play him. It was a little, I don't know. I thought he was supposed to be like pretty slick, cool, like good-looking dude in general, like from the Addams Family. But the actor that played the dad, not so much. No, not really. And then I thought maybe it's not Sylvester, but whatever, the bald pale dude, he was maybe slightly too silly. I feel like he was a little bit more serious than the other ones, but he was still fine. The actor that played him was pretty good. So overall, I would say the show was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's fun to watch either way. Probably gonna enjoy it. So let's talk about kind of sum up some other things. I did end up watching Vampire Diaries. My now wife is into a lot of shows. Has watched many, many, many shows. And so she started watching Vampire Diaries and started in like the 4th season or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not going to start watching the middle of the 4th season with you. Like, if I'm going to watch this, I'm going to start from the beginning, if you're going to make me watch it anyways. So started from the beginning. I think there's 8 seasons, 7 or 8. Whatever she'd seen, let's say there was 8 seasons. She'd seen 7 seasons like 4 or 5 times. Had never watched the last season because she just didn't want it to end, and didn't feel like it was over, and saw the ending of it. So she just kept rewatching 1 through 7. I was like, woman, I cannot get to the end of 7 and not finish it. Like, that would kill me. I get the idea of not wanting to finish it, but I'm gonna finish it because I'm not gonna leave myself with a cliffhanger like that. But I ended up watching through that. I did start to enjoy it. She always, you can either be Team Stefan or Team Damon. I like the hero, so I'm Team Stefan because he ended up saving the day and pretty much killed most of the big bad guys throughout the show, and ended up sacrificing himself at the end to win. So I say he's the real hero overall, which is why I like him better. But of course, my wife likes Damon better, whatever, the older, taller guy. But anyway, Elena, she was honestly very overrated. Like, I'm not saying the actual actress looks herself, the character, like, she kind of like thought she was amazing and the best ever and blah blah blah, but she really wasn't. She was kind of helpless most of the time, and she had to get saved like every episode, and was just, I mean, she was not like the dream girl of all dream girls. Like, she just didn't fully have the act together. But I say definitely Bonnie or Caroline were better, or even Rebecca. Like, everybody kept like seeming like they're gonna finally have a serious relationship with Rebecca, but they never did. But somebody definitely should have. Like, she's literally not gonna die, protect all of you, and was cooler and more like committed to the guys than any of the other women were. Like, she literally committed to them right away. Then they all burned her. But that's just my take. I say pick Bonnie, Rebecca, or Caroline, because they were all way more committed than Elena. She was wishy-washy the whole time, and they're much nicer and better personalities too, in my opinion. Except for the Bonnie Jeremy thing, where she just totally just forgot about him and ignored him, which I know was probably because the actors stopped playing in it very much, but they just acted like he didn't exist, and then went in and went with Enzo, which, whatever, fine. Enzo and then worked, but like, the Jeremy thing just threw me off. The fact that she should really be with him from the whole time. Oh, and sorry, I guess I should have said spoilers at the start of this. But basically, all these shows gonna have spoilers. So if you've seen it already, then keep listening or go watch it first before you watch this. So, other than that, I'd say it was pretty good. They kind of started rotating people out because I think they were filming the originals and legacies and stuff around the same time, so they started rotating out the originals a lot, and I didn't like it without them quite as much. I liked when they were incorporated more. But it was an overall good show. I enjoyed it. It was fun to watch. Will I rewatch it at some point? Probably. So it was that good. Next, let's talk about Supernatural. So, obviously, spoilers again. I'm currently still watching Supernatural. I'm on season 9. There are a lot of seasons and a lot of episodes and long episodes. So, it's a lot to get through. And when I saw 15 seasons, I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a slow build. They're going to slowly very slowly get up through the monsters towards this big bad, which you would think would end up being Lucifer. But not really. Or like a big overall world-ending thing. It was like, oh, little monsters, go up, little monsters, demon at the end of the first season. Oh, the demon's this big hard thing we never killed before. Gotta take them on. And it went from, oh, build up to demons at the end of the first season. Into the second season, it was like hundreds of demons, or thousands of demons. So you go from 1 to thousands real quick, and then I'm trying to remember because now I'm so far ahead that I'm trying to remember. Then it was like you build up to a bunch of demons, and you have this one demon leader that you're trying to get, and then it's like, okay, where do you go from here? Like, you can still slowly build, like, or kind of go back to some normalness and come back up. It just goes like, oh, demon leader, bunch of demons, apocalypse. Just real quick, just jump straight into apocalypse. Like, it happened very quick. Like, it was the third season that they were already in it. At least the fourth, though. I'm like, how can you get farther from the apocalypse? And you're in the fourth season, you have the apocalypse, and then you got to get up to 15 seasons. I was like, this escalated a little bit quickly. I don't know if they thought, and it kind of ended that season. I think it was season 4, where on like a real like ending, to where you could be satisfied with how it ended overall. so maybe they didn't think it was coming back for the next season. But once you know there's 15 seasons, it's like, golly, they escalated very quickly out of nowhere, seemingly. So that, I thought the pacing was a little crazy on that, and then they kept jumping back down to like, oh, apocalypse, normal little ghost hunt, apocalypse, normal little ghost hunt, apocalypse, normal little ghost hunt, which is kind of funny. And I mean, you got to, since you didn't slowly build up there anyways. I would like to see like more of a slow build, but since we're there, again, just like Vampire Diaries, I like Sam better because he ends up being the hero most of the time. Well, they share it pretty much, but he's been so far more than Dean has. Plus, Dean died like 3 times in the first 2 seasons, and I'm like, what the heck? People like they need to trade it around a little bit. Also, they did pace it real quick till their dad died really quick. And maybe the actor didn't want to keep doing it, or they really thought they were going to end after like season 4, to where the pacing of the dad dying would have been good. But now he's like this great figure that they've had, where I'm in season 9 now, so he's been alive for like 2 seasons, I think it was. So not even the majority of those seasons now. They still reference him and stuff, and it's like, not that big a deal because he literally wasn't in there that long. Like, you can remember his face, but you don't remember much of what he did, or you didn't get to see much of his great hunting skills. You just hear about it. So I feel like putting him in a little bit more would have been cool, or even like some flashback stuff with him and Dean. Like, they go back to Dean as a kid on the road and stuff, and Sam. But if they went and actually added that actor back in and did some stuff with him and Dean when they were younger, that would be pretty cool too. Which maybe they do still, but they haven't for like 7 seasons now, so why would I think they start now? But yeah, I like Sam better. Of course, my wife likes Jensen Ackles better, which, whatever. But Sam, after the first couple seasons, like once he started getting older, he beefed up a lot. Like, they kept showing him shirtless scenes constantly, and like, dude was juiced, especially for how tall he is. His arms, pretty nice. But it's been, the show's pretty good. I just like the general guys on the road living out of their car and hotels and stuff, going around hunting things and going to the woods and stuff. Like, I love anything they're out in like nature episodes and cool stuff like that. It's all cool, and magic and stuff can't really go wrong most of the time. So I'll give updates on that once I've probably finished it, or at least farther ahead than that. So I want to like have so many different little interests that I would like to talk about in these, so I kind of just want like a random one. But we'll keep this one focused on TV shows. I guess this one's kind of part of like TV show talk, I guess. American Ninja Warrior. Loved that show since I was little, and we always watch that and be like, oh, I'm gonna be like that guy, and blah blah, do it. Well, I finally was able to audition. Was that like 2 years ago now? Because they like jumped the age to 18 or 19 right as I turned 19, I think. And so then I auditioned, or I sent in an audition video, and they never responded. I thought it was funny. I'd been training. I posted all the stuff that they said they wanted you to post. I was trying to be funny. I don't have like a really sob story to get on, like a lot of people do. But I thought I would be funny, and maybe that would get me on, because a lot of people just have jokes and make funny videos, and that gets them on. But it didn't work for me. I didn't even get a response, so I'm sad about that. All that training for nothing. But did try to do that, so I thought that would be pretty cool. But liked watching all of that go down. And the one guy, what was his name? Drew Dreschel, I think. he finally won after training like crazy and ended up winning. And he trained like at night and stuff because I didn't realize like they film everything at night because they need it to be dark and so they can light everything up and make it look cooler that way. I didn't realize that, but I thought that'd be cool to do it at night, and that's like my prime time where I like to be awake anyways. So it would have worked out well for me. But then he ended up winning, and as soon as he won, it comes out that I guess all of his videos are about like him and his wife, and he just had a new baby and everything, about how committed he was to his wife, and that was his cool thing. And then it comes out that he cheated on his wife, I guess, like right after he wins it. I don't. The cheating thing came out. I don't know when the actual cheating happened, but that kind of sucked. I was like, oh, this guy's kind of like my hero. He finally did it, and then turns out he's kind of a little turd who used his wife and kid and all that situation to keep getting himself on the show, and as his little pitch as the ninja dad, I think, or something. And turns out he was cheating on her. So shows you nobody's perfect. So I didn't get on. Maybe I'll get on someday. Keep training and doing well at that. I'm pretty good at a lot of those. I mean, I'm not like the most muscular guy ever. I'm pretty skinny for my height and size, so it kind of comes at an advantage as long as you have good grip strength and holding yourself up and arm strength, which I definitely did at the time, and I'm working on it again for disc golf stuff to get better at it. But it definitely, like, I did American Ninja Warrior obstacles like a month or two ago when like I hadn't trained in forever, and there's a big difference. You're pooped out real quick. It's not even that like you can't do the stuff, because like I was able to still do some of the things, not nearly as well or efficiently, but you just get crapped out so quick. And your grip strength, especially your hands, that's the worst. Like even I did rock climbing like once or twice now, and when your hands are not used to it, they just start burning and immediately are done. So that happens, and then your arms are also dead, and so your hands and your arms are dead, and you can't do stuff very quickly. And where before you're like there for 2 hours, you take a couple breaks and go to the trampoline park, come back, and you're still good, and you can still do it for like 2 hours. This time it was like an hour maybe, and I was so dead, my hands could not do anything more. So yes, it is something you have to keep training for, and I will keep trying to keep myself up there, and maybe try to get back on it someday. Maybe once I have something big happen in my life that I can use to sell my story, because a lot of those shows, that's what it is to get on. You have to have some sob story or cool thing that happened to you or that you do that gets you on there. So those down. I'm gonna try to keep like doing adventure vlogs too, and kind of just like random fun little clips and videos of stuff that I have happen. Try to post those pretty often, maybe like once a week or so. Try to get those in, because I really like still doing that. It's easier to talk about some of that stuff though, because some of the stuff happens real quick, and it's like I wish I could have a body cam on me 24/7 and just take certain clips out of there, because cool stuff happens always when you're not recording and at the randomest of times. So it's kind of hard to predict and get all of that stuff if you, at least live. Maybe I can reenact some of the stuff, but it's not as cool as when it happens immediately. So to the main part of this video. Maybe I should have done this first, but I just had the most to talk about this, so I wanted to save it. What I'm wearing my buff for, even though this is not Survivor related, it's about something else, but I guess it's meant to be like that. Talking about Survivor. So, Survivor, sorry, looking at my notes. So, Survivor. We talk about a lot of different random things. I found this show, like I knew about Survivor and like had watched it intermittently. And as a little kid, I remember watching it some, because I guess it actually came out in 2000 when I was born. So it's literally the show's as old as me. Um, and I kind of seen it a little bit, but my family was always a Big Brother family, and so they all watched that and they like loved that and were obsessed and watched that every week. And I was like, I like the general idea of that, but it was never like super interesting to me. But then I finally got put on to Survivor like a month ago, and maybe not even a month. And it's got the same sort of idea as Big Brother, which I think this Survivor probably had it first, most likely. But it's the same general like playing style, but you're surviving in the wilderness at the same time, and you're on an island, and you're doing more like outdoorsy challenges, which I love, and so that kind of hooked me right away. And just the random drama and funny people that go on it, I loved it. So I started on like season 22, 3, I think, which is where like Hulu started, and I watched from there to like season 27. I'm pretty sure I've watched 4 seasons now in like a month or less. I think less than a month. So I watched a lot, probably too much, and so I'm probably gonna get confused between seasons and random stuff. Um, but I'm gonna talk about. It's probably my favorite show right now, and something I think they still do it. I was told they still do it. So if they don't, this is gonna sound stupid, but I would love to get on it someday. It would be really cool. And I'll talk about kind of like what I would do if I was on the show a little bit, but also just things not to do and things that I've seen that are stupid and funny, and have a little laugh at it with you guys, hopefully. So I'm gonna start off with. I just have kind of random notes marked. We'll talk about Colton first. So, you know who Colton is? He is the gay dude, who was on the show. I don't know fully which season. I guess it would be like 25. Probably, I think it was like 25 then. Um, and he was just, he said a lot of crazy things, a lot of very rude things to a lot of people, and just was like roasting and just crap talking every single person in the entire show. Which a lot of it they said he said he was playing like a character at the end and trying to be like unlikable and weird like that, and just crap talk people the whole time, and that it wasn't like really him. Which I'm sure he's not fully like as prejudiced or biased as he was acting, but some of it is definitely truthful, and he was going so hard that like even if you take a couple steps back from where he was at, he's still pretty bad and biased and all that. So, and pretty hateful, just hateful in general. He like didn't hold anything back, just told everybody he absolutely hated them and didn't want to talk to them, and didn't like the guy because he was poor. And at first, it sounded like he was maybe a little bit loud and a little like broy, which Colton didn't like. Um, and so I don't tend to get along with those guys as much, but I don't just crap talk them and try to get rid of them. Literally, give up the idol to get rid of him. Like that's one of the stupidest moves in that game. I don't know why they did that, and then he ends up getting kicked out, or he ends up leaving due to medical evacuation, which is straight up karma for him, and that's what he deserved. But it would have been cool to see like what would have happened if he was still in there, because he was the only guy. Like he was roasting the midget and the women, and everybody was being slow and crap and all that. It was pretty bad. He was a character, but it turns out him, maybe Troyzan, was kind of smart game wise, but he just did not see the whole women thing at all, until it was way too late. Um, but Colton probably was like the smartest of the guys playing the game. and probably knew the best game strategy and would have actually like led them the best. He made like really stupid impulsive decisions, but overall he probably knew the most of what he needed to do, and was probably the smartest of the guys, which is pretty sad. After he got kicked out and or after he got injured and left and evacuated. But so it would have been totally different if he just stayed, but we don't get to see that yet. Maybe he comes back later, but probably because of all the hate that he got, he probably is not going to be invited back. But that was just crazy, like how straight blunt he was, and I know they could have taken just clips of the more worse stuff that he said, but there was just so many clips that it's like he says a lot of this stuff. So talking about him, that alliance was the getting rid of the idol was stupid. It put the guys down from there when they were just dominating the women at first, and then the guys just immediately thinking their new alliance was fully together and the girls and guys beforehand was not going to matter at all was really dumb. Which that was my first like where the tribes split into two, and then they were in two, and then they split into new two, and then they came back together as merged. And so I didn't fully realize how the dynamics of that would be, but so far I've seen two of those now I think, and every time everybody's loyal to the tribe they were with before. And I haven't seen it like maybe there's a couple divisions like when they try to overthrow them a little bit. Pretty much everybody stays loyal to the tribe they were with before, or else you get kicked out pretty quick. So they played it so dumb when they're just like, oh yeah, let's get rid of a girl. Let's get rid of a guy because we don't like him that much. And then they're like, okay, now they're down, so now the women can just join together, take them all out if they wanted. And then they're like, oh, let's get rid of a girl now to make it even. And all the girls are like, yeah, let's do that. Okay, we'll get rid of this girl. And then they get rid of another guy, and they're like, well, we didn't really like him that much, so I guess we'll be fine, that's fine. We'll get rid of a girl next time. They're like, okay, let's get rid of a girl this time. They got rid of another guy. And then finally they realized, wait, I don't think the girls are with us. I think they're just killing themselves. And it took them way too long to figure that out, or else they could have flipped things around on the girls earlier and should have won. So all right, so with that one, we'll leave it at that. The guys were dumb. And then we'll go next on to talking about Brandon Hant. You could tell pretty quickly that there was something wrong with him, like mentally. Like he's got something he's dealing with internally for sure, and was just ready to blow and couldn't keep himself together at all at the first time. And then you could tell everybody's like, what is he doing? He just happened to be in a good alliance that was pushing him towards the end. And then his dad came and visited. And his dad was like, what are you doing? Are you playing the game like this? Like you're telling me right now? He's like, that is terrible. Like, don't do that. And then he keeps playing it like that. And then he comes home and they comes to the reunion and everything. And he's like, yeah, my family all thought I did terrible. They didn't support it. And Russell was there. And he's like, yeah, he was played terrible. And so, I mean, he got roasted pretty hard, but he played pretty terrible. Not going to lie. So he comes back. He finally gets his second chance. And I guess he'd been getting told, like, you better not make the same mistakes. You better not make the same mistakes again. And he just played still so irrational and angry. Like, he was just more angry this time, though. Before he was, like, so anti everything and, like, wanted to be so loyal and all this. And then he was just angry. And then he's like, I'm going to blow this place down if I lose, whatever. And then he wasn't even, I mean, I guess he would have been voted out, maybe. But he just hated Philip so much that he pours the rice and beans out, and so dumb. Goes crazy. Probably would have fought Philip, which I kind of would have liked to see how that would have gone down. But see if he really is the specialist. But crazy that he's got so insane. I doubt he's coming back because they can't have somebody that crazy and volatile out there with him. Again, I'm just surprised a blow up like that didn't happen during the first game. Which, I mean, he had his weird little blow ups, but nothing like personal or physical like that. But that's just kind of funny to watch and entertaining. His craziness, even though he's good in challenges. Like, he was good in challenges, he's strong, but he just did not have the social game at all. Then we got Cochran. Cochran's flip on the first one I thought really could have done well. And I mean, this tribe before was treating him pretty bad, so I can't blame him for not fully being loyal. But you probably have a better chance in that 6 making something work. Maybe somebody trying to drag you to the end and flipping to be 7 on 6. And then still getting voted out 7th. That kind of was tough. I was like, maybe he seemed like he could squeeze his way in there, but they were just so about the loyalty thing or whatever. They didn't squeeze in. Then I just watched this last season of Fans versus Favorites with Cochran. And he kind of was just the default leader after Philip got taken out and then Andrea got taken out. He kind of sat there and the only person left to fully lead, and he was still smart enough to stick. And he stuck with his alliance this time, and they had the full favorites thing when Malcolm was trying to overthrow him, and Malcolm almost succeeded. I mean, he found 3 idols, two, and he could have found 3. He could have overthrown them multiple times, but the people he was trying to get in he was not smart enough to like be as discreet as he could, and tried to bring too many people in, and one of them ended up telling the alliance, and then they did a good job of switching over and still voting somebody out, even though when they could have easily gotten flipped around and blindsided themselves, the favorites, and Malcolm could have taken over. Which, I mean, he tried to make a big move. If it would have succeeded, he would have he would have been running the game, and then it would have been his alliance making it to the end. But the thing is, he chose like such a strong alliance. It was him and the Reynolds and Eddie and like all the strong guys together, that everybody that was on the fence was like, do I join this really strong guys alliance that is going to win a lot of challenges, or do I choose this favorites alliance, which is a lot of weaker people that I can most likely beat a lot easier and will have an easier time getting votes with them and being less afraid of getting voted out? Or do I go with these people that are going to beat me most of the time and win challenges over me, and then are going to probably get more votes than me at the end? So it was kind of an easy choice for all of them, even no matter how much I wanted to see it flip, because I like the underdogs to come out and win. But like, they had a much easier way to the finish on their own favorites when they stuck with that than they did with switching over to his really good, strong alliance. So you got to kind of have like a mix in your alliance, not just all strong people, or you're not going to get people moved over to you. Unless you guys just happen to win immunity every time, have all the necklaces and all that. So that's something you got to look out for. You can't have too strong of an alliance if you want people to join you, because they're going to be scared and want to, especially if their alliance is like weaker, they're going to want to stick with theirs and be able to just vote you guys out and have an easier time prancing along to the finals. It's the name of the game. Get rid of the people that could beat you. So Cochran did a good job. I think he's the only one that got votes, and he should have. Dawn was just too emotional, and I mean, not that you should vote on that, but they had similar games and did very similar things, but he definitely orchestrated a little bit more than she did, I think, even though she might have done a little bit more of the footwork. But then you take his 3 immunity challenge wins, and it's like, it's no question when they have very similar other things. Like, she didn't have the 3 wins, she had 1. You gotta take him. So we'll go with Philip also, which my wife hates Philip and just like thought he was so annoying and dumb. which I didn't have as big a problem with him. I thought he was funny. The different stealth RS stuff, and all the different things he made. He was a little bit too arrogant and thought he could do a lot more things than he could, but um, I still thought he was pretty funny, and just kind of trying to have fun with the game and be a personality, because they like that when you entertain people and make people angry and invoke reactions from people, because that's better for their views and does better for the network. So he was kind of playing that up well, and they liked it, and it worked for him. Other than he ended up getting voted out in that weird, really awesome triple immunity council. Let's see. So now I'm going to talk about some of the things that you should and should not do in the game, and some of the dumb things people did. So, building in fans versus favorites in the fans tribe, build a minority alliance. That is stupid. And it also happened with, I can't remember which one. They also built a minority alliance, and I was like, that's pretty dumb. No way somebody else does that again. Guess what? The fans immediately, two guys, two girls, buddied up. We're like, okay, we got us four. We're an alliance. Let's go to the end. We got this. And just hung out with each other. Didn't talk to any other people. Let me see. There's 10 people in your tribe. So that's 5 and then one more over here. So 6 random people, and then you got 4. 6 votes to 4 votes. Which one would win? 6. Yeah. Especially if they're like, oh, people just join our alliance, but we don't really want anybody to join us because we're the cool kids. Nobody joined them. They're all like, okay, they're all doing their own thing. Us 6 are just sitting here by ourselves, able to talk amongst each other. Why don't we just join together? Wow. Who'd have thunk that? They could have literally got one more person and at least been tied, but they definitely should have got 2 more. So they had 6, and they'd have been chilling. But no. They decided to make a minority alliance, and we're going to get voted out bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. If they weren't actually the stronger people in the tribe. So they ended up keeping them to try to win immunity challenges, and it didn't fully work, but they also didn't have too many opportunities either. So it was kind of crappy for the tribe, because the 6 people that were left were kind of the worst players in the tribe. So they didn't really have a good chance of winning challenges and keeping their tribe alive without those people. And the women that got kept were pretty weak as well. The 2 girls that were with the guys probably were the strongest women, but they got voted out real quick. And then they were kind of left with a weaker tribe to deal with from then on, and it didn't work out well for them. But don't build a minority alliance. That's something you gotta keep in mind. That's stupid. Because you don't have the votes, so you're gonna get voted out if you don't all win immunity. Okay, then you got, this is some of the stuff around the final end of the game. So the final immunity challenge is super important, because you can be playing the best game, you're the best guy out there, you're the leader of your tribe, you have such a loyal tribe, all this, and you get all the way to the end, you made the biggest moves, you won a bunch of immunity things, you get to the end, there's 3 other people. If 2 of those people are not completely loyal to you, to a fault, and just one of them flips, you're getting voted out if you don't win that final immunity. Because why would they take the best guy in the game that can obviously win? You've played well enough, you made these big moves, you can obviously win if you make it to the finals. Why would they take you when they know they're not going to beat you? Some people will if they're completely loyal, but you can't really trust that ever. But you have to win that final immunity challenge if you've been playing a game worthy of winning, pretty much. You have to win it, or else you're going to get voted off. It's just, that's how it works. It kind of sucks, I mean, maybe you just got to build a super loyal tribe and make them think that they did so well and were really the leaders when you were and made all the big moves. But pretty much everybody I think I've seen win either had super loyal people that still thought they could beat them, or and then made them believe that they could beat them, or they actually could, or they won that final immunity challenge, which is the majority of them. You kind of got to win that to secure yourself if you played that good of a game that you're gonna blow out the other competition. So that's very important. You got to win that kind of, or else don't expect yourself to stay in to the end. Then we'll go back to start a little bit. So you have to join an alliance quickly. If an alliance are starting to get made, you got to get in on that. If you're not in on that, you're on the outs. You're gonna get voted out. Maybe not right then. Maybe you'll make it till the last person before the alliance is dissolved, or just goes to just the alliance. But you're not in with the alliance. They don't trust you. They kind of got their secure little bond already, and you're gonna get voted out eventually. You can maybe try to squeeze in there, no matter how much they like you, though. They pretty much don't. You don't get into the alliance. You're out. So you kind of got to get into the alliance. You can't just let, like, if you see that a group of 5, at least 5, are off by themselves on the beach the first couple days, even, like, anytime really, but especially like the first few days, you want to go join that or go find them, because you're getting left out and you're not going to be in the alliance if you're not in that big group gathering. So you got to get in the alliance quickly. I saw a couple people on the like Penner and stuff that were hesitating to join alliances here, and they're like, oh, maybe later. They're gonna pass you by because they want to get that solved. A lot of people just want to have it in their head that they're good, they're in this alliance, they're gonna make it. So join them quickly. Don't miss out if you get the chance. If they ask you and then you immediately say and you say no and you don't already have an alliance, that's really dumb. So join an alliance quickly. Don't miss out on that, and make sure it's a majority alliance. Kind of an overall watching out thing, you have to watch out for the women, because it seems like they always tend to team up and always want to go anti-guys. Let's take out the guys, let's get it together, girl power. The guys sometimes do that, but most of them, a bunch of like guys that are good together, want to have like a couple women in between that can kind of buffer from all the manliness that kind of just bump, like, so they're not button heads the whole time. Kind of have a little women to get in between and buffer them and calm them down and level out the testosterone in the group. The guys kind of like that, and a lot of them just like to have the women around anyways. But the girls, they're totally fine not having guys. They would love to be able to say, oh, we knocked out the guys, it's just the girls left. Anytime they can, I've seen they do that, as long as they're not already in a guys alliance or know that they can't win with just the women that they have. They love joining up together, so you got to be watching out for that, and can't fully trust the women when there's a bunch of other women around, or women that they like in the game they're talking to. So then we'll just kind of talk about the vote at the end. As a jury member, like, they vote so emotional and get so sensitive and take everything personal. Like, a lot of them will say later, like, oh, I realized it was just a game, it wasn't that big deal, I didn't mean to take it so personal or whatever. But they take it so personal so quick, and it's like, you know they're playing a game, you know it's all about lying, you're lying to them and deceiving them. Even if they talk about this like playing an honest game, you know you're not fully playing an honest game. If you can trade up or get rid of somebody or make it to the end to win, and you only have to tell like that one lie or whatever, you're gonna do it. Every time, pretty much, the guys are gonna do it for $1 million. The people that get mad are the people that didn't get to that position because they were too loyal, and they didn't have to make that decision of lying or betraying people because they didn't even make it that far. But if they made it there, most likely they'd have made the same decision that the person did against them. So everybody takes this so sensitive and is like, I can't believe you voted me out, I should be there, you shouldn't be here, I'm gonna vote for you. It seems like the people that played the game more than once don't take it that way near as much and vote smartly with their heads. But a lot of the other people vote with their hearts and are just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Talk about all this loyalty and how loyal you were to us, but then you voted me out. It's like only 3 people can make it unless you were in the final 3 with them. And even if they made that as a deal, if you thought that was totally concrete, that's your fault. You should have been watching out. And if you're a competition to them, then most likely they're going to try to get rid of you. So you got to be ready for that. So if I get in the jury, I'm not voting with my heart, voting with my head, unlike most of the people do. And I think challenges are the most important thing to consider when voting. Because, like, let's say you're in your first tribe, you guys win every single challenge, nobody in your tribe gets voted out. You make it to the end, boom, you just take out the other tribe or tribes. Once the merge happens, boom, you got your tribe in there. And when you have such a number majority, you can pick off a couple of your own people too, and not have to worry about them later, and then you can still take out the other tribe. And so you would literally never have to go to tribal council. You can take out the whole other tribe after the merge, not have a chance of going out. All your tribes in there good. Oh yeah, before the merge. Then when you get to the merge, let's say you win every single immunity challenge up till the end, whatever, 9 in a row. Then guess what? You made it to the end of the 3. You're most likely going to win automatically because you won every single challenge. Which that's not really possible. Well, it is, I guess it's possible, but it's not very likely. Nobody's done it. But let's say you did, like, and just secured yourself automatically safe like every week. Challenges are the most important because you automatically keep yourself safe. So that's what the main part of the vote should be, and the most important part. Then it's like social game, because if you made a good alliance early, stayed true to them, you moved up when you needed to a better alliance, or got rid of a certain person that was targeting you, or I feel like it's kind of good if you were targeted like a bunch and you still managed to get through because your alliance was so strong. Like, so you got voted for a bunch, but you still managed to not get voted out. It counts for some points, but I think what counts for even more points is your alliance was so good and everybody knew you were so secure and nobody in your alliance was going to vote against you that they like never vote for you. You don't get any votes for you. I feel like that's even more impressive, that you're kind of staying under the radar or doing just good enough to keep yourself at the top of the echelon of challenges and everything, but below the radar so nobody votes for you, still thinks they're doing better, but they're really not. And you just have such a strong alliance that you guys are taking everybody out, they're not taking you out. I think is even more impressive than like being at the bottom and barely getting through week after week when people want to get you out. I mean, if you make it all the way into that and you still win challenges to keep yourself in, then that's more impressive than the person that just never gets voted for. But if you're neither one of you are winning challenges and you're just kind of keeping it because, oh, somebody's a slightly bigger target and you kind of push it off, I think the person without the votes is more impressive. And then definitely a combo of the two is definitely used to your advantage, and the big moves you made in the tribe. And it's really hard to remember all the big moves, and then you didn't see the fully big moves happen. And most of the people in tribal aren't good at explaining the big moves that they made. So a lot of those don't tend to like be made as big of a deal as they are, or they should be, for the person's benefit. But really those big moves should come into play a lot more, and kind of who made those along with challenges and just like smart takeouts of people and blindsides, and who was really in charge or is to credit with those, and should be taken into consideration for the vote. And I think Coach got robbed. That is my hot take. Not fully my hot take though, because I don't think he got voted for once. Like, his tribe was so secure. He won a couple like solid immunity challenges. Nobody even considered to vote him out at the end because they were all so loyal to him. he like made such a good relationship with all of them that all the people in his tribe, that they all loved him and didn't want to get rid of him. But then other people just like hated him so much because they were so against his going against his integrity and honesty thing. Like, come on, dude. He's playing Survivor. Like, he did the best at tricking all of them. They're just mad they got tricked. But I think he should have won. They were a little bit too bitter against him, I believe. Is what I think. So I think we'll stop there. I would love to be able to get on. I may do kind of like a series thing where I do survival training, make videos about that, and work on getting clips and stuff for my Survivor audition video, which I'm gonna sound stupid if the show's been canceled, but I think it's still going. So that'd be really cool. Make some Survivor videos and start showing myself and getting out, making fires and building shelters, all that. Some of that stuff would be really cool. So I'm glad you guys let me listen to me talk about TV shows and movies for an hour. And hopefully I can do this again and give a little insight and just talk about some of the nerdy things I think about watching TV shows, and what you guys, maybe you guys will enjoy and see how this goes. And if you guys want me to keep doing it again, leave any of your thoughts or comments down in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys are thinking and anything else you think I should talk about or questions you have for me. Thanks, and talk to you guys next time.